Welcome to Designs of Nature, our unit number 1, Leaves and Cones.
Hello, welcome to Center 1, which is called Leaf Peek. And this is a great center because you're going to be observing leaves and getting the kids to look and learn and think about everything, every detail that might identify a leaf. The most important thing you need to know about this center is that you need to bring in the outline it says at least 6 to 10 different leaves. I would highly recommend bringing in a few more than that, just because they can get broken up and then you'll have extra ones as the rotations go through. There are plenty of places to collect leaves, parks, your neighborhood. I have just a few here, but I highly recommend looking for different shapes, different colors, different sizes, even different sizes from the same tree. In the outline, the first thing it tells you to do is to do an activity called Find Your Own. For this activity, each student is going to get a leaf and they're going to examine it. You're just going to hand everybody a leaf and a magnifying glass, and you will look at your leaf and you'll look at the edges and you'll look at the vein pattern. You could point that out to them. And then as they're doing that, you can discuss this handout called Parts of a Leaf. And there are 3 laminated ones in the bin that have the parts identified: the stem, the tooth, the lobe, and the veins. And then there are blanks in there, and they're not enough for all the elves, but the code is written, the PTA code is written on the envelope, and you can make copies.
That's in the upstairs workroom. You can use the code to make copies.
And so this is probably age appropriate, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, probably, and with kindergarten and 1st grade, you probably just discuss it. And so you can do that as they're observing and looking at the leaves. And then after the students feel like they kind of gotten to know their leaf, have them put all the leaves back in a pile. And then include some leaves that that are different shapes that you didn't hand any student to look at. You're going to mix them all up, and then you're going to ask the students to try to find their own leaf. And after they've found their leaf, then you can have a discussion about, well, what did you do to find your own leaf? What were the things you had to look for? What characteristics, shape, size, color, vein pattern, leaf edges. And so that kind of gets them thinking as you move on to discussing and explaining more intricate details of leaves. There's this great laminated paper that talks about vein patterns. The palmate vein pattern is like the palm of your hand, and it's the veins radiate out from the center from a point. The parallel is like blades of grass, and then the pinnate can be referred to looking kind of like a feather, where there's one main vein with the smaller ones coming off. Those would be 3 great scientific terms to pass on to the kids. And then there's also a packet that has even more information that are really scientific names about leaf margins, and identifying leaves, and another one that has names for leaves. The kids might be able to actually name the leaf that they have, and then one that talks about the difference between simple leaves and compound leaves. So all of that is in a packet that's labeled. And hopefully all this stuff will stay and get put away in the correct packets, which will make it easy for anybody running this center to move from part to part, because there are a lot of things in this center. So after you do that, you discuss all the parts of the leaf. You might lay the leaves out and have them discuss like what ones catch the sun the best, what ones are protected from the wind the best, which ones are able to regulate how much water comes in more than others. There's also a fan deck in here of trees that you can get out. This opens up. And you can see billions and billions of different kinds of leaves. Not billions, many.
Many.
Several. So if that is of interest. And then finally, I believe, is a brief discussion on photosynthesis and the purpose of leaves, which is to help trees produce food. And there, again, there's a whole packet in here. There's a great poem, Leaf O Leaf, a poem that is a good mnemonic for understanding photosynthesis. And some other illustrations and brief descriptions. So the basis of this whole center is that the kids are observing leaves and learning about their parts and learning what they do and what they're for. And that's pretty much Center 1. If you need to bring in the leaves, make sure you do that. There's books you can use to help reference if you need to. And if you have any questions, you can email us at mitchellelf@gmail.com. And that's Center 1.
Yay.